Hello everyone. I wanted to do a video as quick as I can here on, as I've been saying, I was going to do a video to basically tell people who are supporters of Gary Johnson a couple things that you can do to help the Gary Johnson campaign as well as the cause of liberty. I'm going to be including lots of links in the video description, so be sure to check that out as they will help you. Of course, the first thing that you can do to spread this message is donate. Donations are important because the campaign is currently launching national radio ads. That's going to help a lot, and of course there's other campaign expenses as well. They've only really raised about $600,000 as far as I can tell in the last couple months, since like June, July, something like that. I'm a little bit disappointed by that because we have a lot of Ron Paul supporters coming over to the Gary Johnson movement. Ron Paul could raise in one weekend over $1 million. How is it taking us this long to raise $600,000? I guess most of us are broke from giving so much to Ron Paul, and then only to have that money ending up in C4L and probably smuggled out, at least partially, by Jesse Benton. But I'm not going to talk about that too much. You know, I donate what I can. I don't make a whole lot of money, but again, I do what I can. Another way that you can actually give funding to the campaign and help spread the message at the same time is through merchandise. So I have here, if you can see it, a Gary Johnson's t-shirt. If you go, again, GaryJohnson2012.com is the website. That's pretty easy to remember, so you can go there to donate. You can go to buy merchandise like t-shirts, like bumper stickers, things like that. So that gives money to the campaign, as well as being able to promote the message, because you're walking around with a t-shirt, somebody in your neighborhood sees you, they think, who is this Gary Johnson guy? Somebody sees a bumper sticker, it's the same thing. They start researching him. So these are the first two ways that you could help support the campaign, and it's pretty easy to do. Just wearing a t-shirt, wearing a hat. There's plenty of stuff that you can buy. Let's see. Another thing you can do, of course, I've been saying this for a while, keep calling the polling agencies. The polls are unfairly excluding him. Even if the polls don't get him into debates at this moment, and by the way, I'll be talking about the Commission on Presidential Debates in my next video. Some pretty good news, actually. But I do want to double up on those efforts. But I'll try to do that either tomorrow or Tuesday. But anyway, keep calling the polling agencies, because if Gary Johnson does get included in the polling, more people, millions of people look at those polls, so they're going to see the name Gary Johnson. They're going to be saying he's getting 5-6% of the vote. I expect those numbers to rise. Trying to be an optimist, I guess. But people are going to ask, why is this guy rising in the polls? What's getting people excited about this weird random Gary Johnson guy? I thought it was just Romney and Obama. They'll look into him, see there's a third choice, and maybe they'll like what he has to say. Again, you know, one of the major polls that came out basically stated 66% of the people don't even know enough about Gary Johnson to have an opinion of him or not. And I think that really stresses the importance of getting people to at least know who he is. 2/3 of the American people basically don't know who Gary Johnson is. And we need to do what we can to change that. And the polls are one way to do that. People look at the polls, they see him. Another thing is blogs. If you have a blog, talk about Gary Johnson on your blog. If you know a place that accepts blog entries or articles or something like that, I have a Yahoo contributors profile. So if you can get into something like that, write articles about Gary Johnson. If not, you can go to news stories and just post comments about Gary Johnson. My advice to you on that would be post comments with substance. You know, don't just post Gary Johnson 2012. You know, people are going to see that as spam. Don't post things like, you're a sheeple if you don't vote for Gary Johnson. I don't see that as being productive, but say something relating to the article and try to tie that in with the Gary Johnson campaign. Like, for example, there's an article about Iran, and Israel's trying to get America to go to war with Iran. You say, you know, I don't want to go to war with Iran, and that's why I'm voting for Gary Johnson. You know, and I'd like it to have more substance than that, but that's just an example that I kind of throw out there. With Yahoo News, another good thing to do is make your Yahoo profile picture a Gary Johnson picture. My profile picture is like a Gary Johnson 2012 pin. So every time I post a comment on any Yahoo News article, there's a little Gary Johnson thing on the side of my name. So people are going to see that. So they like a comment that I post, they like what I have to say on a political issue or something relating to the article. They see that Gary Johnson 2012 thing, think, who's that guy? They look into him, and maybe more people start asking who he is. And the same with Yahoo Answers, Yahoo Questions and Answers. Every time I ask a question, or every time I answer a question, people are going to see that little thing by the side of my name, and they're going to know I'm a Gary Johnson supporter. So that's one way that you can do it. I also use Yahoo Questions and Answers. I've asked questions and I've answered questions, and again, tied Gary Johnson into it. You know, you see a question that says, who are you voting for, Barack Obama or Mitt Romney? I'm voting for Gary Johnson, and this is why. And maybe ask a question. Did you guys know there's a third choice in the presidential race? His name is Gary Johnson. You know, stuff like that. Like one of my questions was, who's better on outsourcing? And it tied into Gary Johnson's business, his handyman business, and how he's never had to outsource a job in his profession, but he created jobs here in America. You know, asking questions, you know, topic-oriented, but still tying in the campaign message. I'm trying to go kind of fast here because I actually have to go to work like right after I post this video and get ready for that, so sorry if I'm talking too fast. Plus, I don't want the video to be too long. Other things you could do are common sense things, you know, MySpace, Facebook, post YouTube videos. You can make your own YouTube videos or share videos. You can share my videos, you can share other Gary Johnson supporters' videos, either on Facebook or whatever, or on Twitter. And speaking of Twitter, I am actually part of a Twitter group. They're going to be doing what's called Twitter bombs. This is a Facebook group and a Facebook event. They're going to be doing a Twitter bomb, I think, tomorrow. Gary Johnson Must Debate, kind of taking on the Commission on Presidential Debates. The goal is to use a Gary Johnson hashtag, and if enough people post at that exact same time, it will make Gary Johnson trend. So a lot of people will see what's trend when they look on their what's trending sidebar. They're going to see Gary Johnson Must Debate on their sidebar. So that's kind of the goal of those Twitter bombs. And it basically works where we have a couple hundred people participating. We post these hashtags. We post literally one tweet every minute, as much as the limit will allow us to. I know newer users have how many tweets they can do in a certain period of time. But yeah, that's basically how we do it. And if we tweet enough, more people will join the tweet and it'll kind of spread. We usually end up with like 1,000 people tweeting. And before you know it, the topic is, you know, number 2, number 3 on trending lists. We've actually accomplished this many times. Although the media hasn't covered it. Of course they won't. But yes, we have done this. And that's one way that you can get involved. And again, the link is in the description. Another way you can do that is writing editorials for your local newspaper. They have letters to the editor. You can write about Gary Johnson. You can post ads in your local newspaper for pretty cheap. Make them about Gary Johnson. You can call into radio shows. You know, the first one that pops in my head is like Michael Savage. You can call into the show and you can say, hey, you know, I want to talk about such and such issue. Do you know where Gary Johnson stands on this issue? Well, this is where he stands on this issue. You know, that kind of thing. C-SPAN is another thing. It's the C-SPAN television channel. They let viewers call in all the time. So call in and start talking about Gary Johnson. Start emailing shows. Like, let's just say, I'm trying to think of an example. Hardball with Chris Matthews. I don't know if that's still on or not, but I don't watch mainstream media as much as I used to. But let's just say, for the sake of this, it does. Let's say the O'Reilly factor, as a matter of fact. Email the O'Reilly factor and say, why don't you have Gary Johnson on your show? Call the O'Reilly factor. Do whatever. Try to get him into the national stage. There are groups on Facebook and things like that that are trying to do this. I guess I'll be posting a lot of links in the description so you can view all of them. But these are just some basic ways to campaign. Commenting on news articles, using social media like Facebook and stuff like that. Buying merchandise, using the merchandise to get his name out there. You know, this is all for liberty. And if you're not doing something, you could be doing something. And the biggest thing that I would urge people to do is vote. Because I don't know how many times I've seen the most enthusiastic people in the world get so excited about these candidates. Oh, Ron Paul all the way. Yeah, Ron Paul. I'm so excited about Ron Paul running this year. And then I ask him, hey, did you vote today? Did you vote for Ron Paul in the primary? Oh, no, I forgot. Or I didn't register Republican. Or I didn't do this or that. For crying out loud, don't forget. I think it's November 6th. I'll have to double check that. And if you're not registered to vote, you better do that now. I think, depending on the state, you have to register so far in advance before the election in order to be allowed to vote on November. So do that as soon as you can. And please, please do not get all excited and do all this grassroots organization and stuff and then forget to vote, because then it's not going to mean a thing. And this is the problem, by the way, with young people. Anybody who has young people on his side, do not expect him to win, because young people usually don't vote. That's kind of what happened to Ron Paul. There wasn't a large youth turnout, and therefore he didn't get as many votes as he could have had all the young people turned out. But historically, that's just always been the case. And that being said, the other stuff you can do, just tell your friends and family. I mean, real easy stuff. Like when I share something on Facebook, another tip just to throw out there, I've noticed that posters work better than YouTube videos, because I could embed a YouTube video on my Facebook, nobody will ever watch it. But when I put like a poster, like I say I have a picture of Gary Johnson saying, and this is my timeline cover photo actually, I have a picture of Gary Johnson. It says, I'm the only candidate that will bring the troops home and end the war in Afghanistan. Now, I'm the only one who will legalize marijuana now. I'm the only one who wants to repeal the Patriot Act and the NDAA. I'm the only one that wants to get rid of the IRS and bring about the fair tax and so on and so forth. And it was a great picture because it was just a basic rundown of everything Gary Johnson believes in, and people can know who he is. And I've had more people comment or like, or even try to challenge me and debate me with pictures like that than I have posting YouTube videos, which people generally don't even watch from my Facebook. Not to say I don't still share videos on my Facebook, which I do practically every other day. But I have found that posters are easy. You sit there, you look at it, you read it, and you're done. Whereas videos you have to dedicate more time to. So for that reason, they might be slightly more effective. I think there's a group. Well, there's a lot of groups on Facebook. One is called Gary Johnson 2012. That's all it's called. And they post posters and pictures like that every day that are great to share on your wall. So those are just a couple of tips. If you have any questions of what can I do or what can I do to help this cause, just let me know, either in the comments or you can message me, whatever. I've pretty much been doing this all year, from Ron Paul to Gary Johnson, so I kind of know what I'm doing as far as internet activism goes. And the last thing that you need to do is contact the Commission of Presidential Debates. The pressure is on them big time right now. We'd be crazy to stop now. And I'm going to talk about them in my next video, but their voicemail box has been full. When I first called them, their line was busy, so I had to call back later and then leave a voicemail. Their voicemail boxes have been pretty full from what I've heard. I think their email boxes are pretty full, but I'm going to post both those contact infos. Call them and demand Gary Johnson be included in the debates. Let's keep their phones tied up. Let's keep their emails tied up. And the campaign will keep them tied up in court. And there's a lot of other pressure coming. And I have kind of a long-term strategy that I might employ with them if we can't do this on time for the upcoming debates. But hopefully they'll cave very soon. I hope so. Or at least lower the requirements or something. Because the people know that it's not fair. The people know that this is not going to fly with the American people. So, again, contact info in the description. Those are some things you can do, so let's review. Posting comments on news articles and YouTube videos and blogs. Blogging yourself, making your own videos, sharing other people's videos. Telling your friends and family. Basic stuff. Donating money, buying merchandise, using that merchandise, calling the polling agencies, calling the Commission on Presidential Debates. These are just a few things that you can do to help the Gary Johnson campaign, and you can do them right from home. Twitter bombs. Again, that link's going to be in the description. Please participate in this Twitter bomb this Wednesday. It'll be during the debate. We're going to get Gary Johnson trending. They can shut him out of the debates, but they can't shut him out of Twitter, especially if we have anything to say about it. So I encourage you to participate in that. And if you want to go above and beyond and do real stuff like handing out literature, making phone calls, hosting fundraising events, I would contact your local Libertarian Party office. And if Gary Johnson has a headquarters in your area, I would contact them. And see if you can volunteer. Unfortunately, I don't have much of that near me, but if I did, I definitely would want to get involved and go out and meet real people. That would be pretty awesome. But for now, I'm stuck behind my computer. But if you can do something real, I definitely encourage you to do that. So thank you very much, guys, for watching. I know my last couple videos have been pretty long, and YouTubers generally have a shorter attention span than this. But I had a lot of information I want to get out there for people who wanted to support Gary Johnson. Maybe they're new to this. And just give you guys some general information of just little things that you can do. You can do it right from home, right from your computer, like I'm doing. You might not reach 1 million people, but if 1 million people reaches one person, that's 2 million people. So there you have it. Thank you very much, guys, and have a nice day. And keep fighting for liberty.